Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're back with another match of modern gameplay for Magic the Gathering. On the left, we have Adam Sitzis playing Esper Control, aka it's Esper Reanimator. I just put Control for some reason. I think it gets updated later on. And then on the right, we have Will Lazanak playing Red White Burn or Boros Burn. He is trying to go very fast. So we'll see how this goes. There's me doing my pitch about we have big dice, used to big dice on the stream. I gotta shuffle up. I enjoy both of these decks, right? They both tickle a different different part of like the brain when it comes to playing card games. The Reanimator deck, I'm like, let's play a big dude who does crazy things. That sounds fun. And then Burn is just it tickles the part where you're like, I want to go fast. And Burn's one of those decks that like if it's ever really good in a format. Oh, they're doing even on. I think Adam called the die roll. It's one of those things where like playing aggro at a larger event for any card game where like you just get done your round like 15 minutes and you're not sitting there for 50. It's a great place to be because it makes your life so much easier. I cannot tell you how many times I've been like, I'm gonna play the mid-range deck or the control deck at an event for like for any card game. And I'll have like 40, 50-minute rounds, and my buddy who's playing the aggro deck is done like 10, and he's like, I went to get lunch, and I'm like, I haven't eaten in 3 rounds. Both players deciding to take a mull, it looks like. That or Adam just took the mull, and Will decided to not. I need to find something to stabilize the tripod more for the stream. We've been thinking about trying a wall mount idea, so we're gonna give that a shot and see how that goes. Adam on a model 5, probably not where you want to be as Reanimator. I mean, you're effectively like it's control adjacent, but you are effectively a combo deck, right? Because you have a thing you want to do. You want to do it as quickly as possible. I do think Adam is on the build that's closer to the one that Spike has been playing on his streams lately, and like the Modern Challenge, which has like the Mole Drifters in it, and which is funny. Before each run, I ask, I'm like, hey, can you show me like a couple cards in your deck that way I know what you're playing. Obviously, like who had not showing the opponent, but Adam showed me Faithful Mending and Mole Drifter, and I had forgotten that Spike had put Mole Drifter into the Reanimator deck, and I had just seen an Esper control deck that was playing Mole Drifters, and I was like, oh, okay, so it's just a control list. Completely right over my head. Alright, game started. We got a tap Godless Shrine and a pass. Sunbaked Canopy, I think it's the name of that one, and the Monastery Swift Spear. With no effects, just doing 1 damage. I don't know how I feel about that Swift Spear art. It's interesting, right? Like, that Secret Lair was a weird one to me. Sometimes I really like the art, sometimes I'm just not about it. I'm going to fetch off the Marsh Flats and shocking in something. Most likely either a Hollowed Fountain or a Watery Grave. I think that's the Expedition Watery Grave. Adam flexing with his very pretty lands. Which I would say they're currently the correct option, right? Like, if you want to, like, have your fancy land, here comes the Faithful Mending, getting 2 life back. They're like the best fancy option right now, but when those space themed shock lands come out, they are going to be tier 1 in my opinion, the best shock lands. And he has the Onslaught Pluto Delta. Alright, Adam's deck is pretty. I love the fact that like Mending gains you 2 life. That way you can fetch into it, like fetch shock into it, and it feels like you got a dual land because you just recover the life loss. Attacking with the Swift Sphere with no effects again. Will is trying to hold stuff. I can't see anything. Alright, we're gonna persist out an Archon. He's got a Skull Crack. Yeah, I think that's Skull Crack, right? So Adam can't get any life. There's the -1/-1 counter. One thing to note, I don't think Will discarded for the Archon trigger. Though I don't know if Adam announced that he had to discard, and Will, I generally don't think Will knew, but it's not going to be too pressing for the game, I believe. Alright, Adam's going to fetch out a tapped Hallowed Fountain. See a Solitude, a Prismatic Ending. He's going to flash back the Faithful Mending. And draw 2, discard 2. Mending is honestly one of my favorite cards that they have printed in the last year. Like, it's just an appropriately power leveled card, right? Because there's so many things at Horizons that are super cool, but, like, not appropriately power leveled. So, it's nice when we get a card that is really useful, super cool, and isn't god awfully broken. Alright, dropping the Mole Drifter. This is a friendly reminder to myself that I need to buy TSR Mole Drifters. I think I only have one. Alright, Sunday Canopy number 3. And just passing, it looks like, yeah. Interesting. Adam's going to fetch down to the Martial Arts. Getting a very pretty swamp. Oh, just got a hard cast of Grief. Just got a Boros Charm. Adam and Bolt Adam. The last card in hand is a Fire Islet. And then it will take damage from the canopies. Maybe Sunbaked Vista. What was I saying? Sunbaked Canopy? I fused that in Horizon Canopy. It's going to top deck the Boros Charm for lethal. And we'll be back for game 2. Burn takes game 1. Alright, here we go. Back to game 2. Quick transition. And a Martial Arts pass. And then a mount into, I think it's a Searing Blaze. It's a Sorcery Speed Bolt. That's all I know. I think it's Searing Blaze. There's a lot of cards in Will's deck that just do 3 damage to your opponent, so I'm not going to remember all. Lava Spike? Maybe it's... Oh, might be Lava Spike. Alright, fetches out the Water Grave. Tapped. No reason to take extra damage right now. Now, I don't think Adam is playing Consider, which is interesting. I like Consider a lot in my version of the deck that I've been playing, but I haven't made the cuts yet for Ephemerate, and Ephemerate's just way too good when half of your creatures have wild ETB triggers. So, here comes the Concealed Courtyard. And another Mark Grave. He could dump a Sarah's Emissary here and just call instants and or sorceries, depending on which one. Oh, there's the Emissary. Because then it gives him a 6/6 to block with, or just go for the beatdown path with by attacking with a 6/6 multiple times. Yeah. Alright, fire out for target. 3 damage sorcery spell into a Skewer the Critics, so 6 damage. Playing an island for turn and just passing. Eidolon of the Great Revel. Adam is going to evoke a Solitude, pitching a Solitude. And then saying he's stacking it so it goes Evoke trigger, then Solitude trigger. That way he gets the Ephemerate before the Evoke trigger happens. Attacks for 3. The beautiful part of Solitude here is he has life gain, or lifelink. Solitude. This might be inaccurate by the time you're viewing this video, but the now $60 card, Will's going to scoop it up, just can't deal with the value that comes with the life gain and then like other stuff that Adam is sure to find. So going into game 3, Will is on I think he has a 7-card hand. So I don't think either of them have mulled. Early morning commentary will really get to you when you with some terminology. Fetching out a Sacred Foundry, and are we going to see any creatures? Maybe a Swift Spear. Maybe a Goblin Guide. I don't know if Burn is playing Darcy or Ragavan. I know they were for a little bit. I know my coworker Kyle at one of our 1Ks played Burn with Darcy in it, but Adam's going to Shrine and tap. Will's just going to bolt his face and continue on with his life. I think that's Roiling Vortex. Deals the damage to each player in the upkeep. I think Will can tap a red and can prevent his opponent from being able to gain life during that turn. I think it does one more thing. I think if you cast a spell for free, it deals damage to you equal to that spell's CMC. I know there's a card. It's from Zendikar Rising. I think it does. I know that card is from Zendikar Rising. I don't know if it's the one that does the damage equal to the free part or to the free cards though. I know there's a card that gets splashed in Legacy to deal with Force of Will. So Faithful Mending. Gonna draw 2 cards. Gain 2 life. Discard 2 cards. I love Mending, man. Like, I'm super happy they printed that card. It's not to the power level that, like, Faithless Looting was, but, like, that's fine. Also, it not being in red and being in blue-white gives one of my favorite color combinations more stuff to play with, so I'm about it. Drops an Archon and a Grief. I am kind of hopeful that they do print another cheap, efficient Reanimator spell. I know it's not likely to happen, but man, it would be nice. Alright, you're going to tap 2 and play an Eidolon. Upkeep triggers. Bless Adam, because he's also keeping his life by paper, so every upkeep he just has to take 1 off every time. It's just minor adjustments. Got the persist? Yes, he does. Alright, so he's going to take damage to the Eidolon trigger, which doesn't really matter, as he's going to gain 3 life here. Not going to gain 3 life. Will have the ability to activate the Vortex. Alright, Adam draws a card. Will lost 3 life. Yeah, I think this is when I catch it, and I'm like, hey, you gotta discard a card. Alright, Vortex is gonna do damage to him as upkeep. And this is kind of like where this, like, when Reanimator can untap with the Archon, because he basically hits for 8, right? He's a 5/5 in the air that deals 3 damage on an attack trigger. Alright, Goblin Guard's gonna attack in. Adam's gonna get to draw a Polluted Delta to hand. Reggie's out of Swamp. Does he have the Fatal Push in hand to deal with the Goblin Guide? Ooh, he does. Ooh, it's a pretty Fatal Push too. Not that I'm surprised. Like I keep looking at it saying like, ooh, Adam's got this pretty card in this deck. Like, I see a trend. Looks like he has an Eidolon in his hand. I skewer the critics. Okay. Gets the Spectacle trigger because Adam fetched and still took damage this turn. Alright, Vortex is going to ping him for 1 damage. And the game is effectively over, right? Like, we could see a card in Adam's hand that basically lets him win the game. Will's going to activate the Vortex, so Adam can't gain life. A flashback the Mending in response to the Vortex trigger. Attacks for basically 8. Discard the card. Goes to 2. I don't know if Adam drew there, but showing Will that he has the Ephemerate to do it in the upkeep or right after Will draws. That way he takes the damage and then discards the card if the damage wasn't going to be lethal. But alright guys, that is Reanimator taking it 2-1. Thank you for watching. If you want to watch us live on Twitch, or if you want to watch us live, we stream every week on Twitch. Mondays and Tuesdays for Magic, Mondays is Modern, Mondays and Fridays for Magic, Monday Modern, Friday Legacy. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day.